Okay, thank you very much, Daniel. So sorry about that. I missed it, completely missed it. Okay, the main difference between LTE and the NB-IoT is LTE does not support. LTE has some problem in the connectivity. You need more cells or you need more access points to cover the same number. For example, think that you need LTE. Okay, you need I don't know, 10 access points to cover, I don't know, 1,000 users, okay? And NB, IoT, you need, for example, 5 access points to cover the same 1,000 users. Did you understand, guy?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, because NB-IoT was designed to, in this paradigm, okay, it's to IoT, it's not to other things, it's to IoT, okay? So, NB-IoT thinks about device that don't need to transfer large amount of data. LTE don't have this difference, okay? LTE was designed, the idea is, the LTE, you need to support transfer of large amount of data by, the question is, 4G does not support so many devices like IoT needs, okay? IoT requires a large amount of device. 4G does not support. It's the reason that you create the LTE, okay? But LTE is very close to 4G specification. NB-IoT, no. When you create the 5G and when you create NB-IoT, you think, okay, 5G is to smartphone, is to the normal user. But I need to have different technology to support IoT device, okay? And IoT device, as I said, you don't have a large amount of data to transport. And second, IoT device support, you can use, you can send the data periodically. You can send the data when something happens. But you can't, you need to send a lot of data, but you don't need to, you don't have problem to latency, okay? If you have problem to latency, you can use, for example, an edge device, okay, in your network. In particular, you need to have to be cheaper because it's the device needs to be cheaper, okay? When you compare all the technologies, okay? So, sorry, another one is the LTE-M. The LTE-M is an evolution of the LTE, okay? It's the same idea, but with more support of the IoT words like long battery life and low cost, okay? When you compare the technology, we didn't study this technology here, okay, Sigfox. Why you didn't study Sigfox? Because it's a proprietary protocol and only exists in the Japan, in countries like that, close to that. In the United States, Brazil, Mexico, and Europe, or you use LoRa, or use NB-IoT, or use LTE-M. It's very rare to have Sigfox. In the French, you have Sigfox too, okay? But the main difference, okay? So first, the cell capacity. The cell capacity is the number of nodes that you can have in this technology, okay? For example, it's the number of, for example, you have one access point. How many devices you support for each access point? In the LoRa, you support 40,000 nodes, and it's a node cellular, okay? And the NB-IoT, you support 200,000. And LTM, you support 1,000,000. Only see this number here, you can identify why, what is the cheapest in technology. LTM, the implementation of the LTM network is cheaper than the LoRa and NB-IoT. The second one is the payload capacity. And the LoRa is the size of the data, the size of a data application that you can transport. In the LoRa, you can transport 243 bytes. In NB-IoT, you can transport 1,600 bytes. In the LTM, you don't have this restriction. You can transport big data if you want. The throughput are the battery life. In the LoRa, 15 years. Okay. And the NB-IoT and the LTM, 10 years. Okay. The throughput is 50 kilobits per second, 200 kilobits per second in NB-IoT, and 1 megabits per second in the LTM. Okay. And finally, the security. The LoRa use AES 128 bits, and the NB-IoT and the LTM is a little more secure because it uses 256 bits. Okay. Any question, guys?
Is there, well, do you know if there are like companies that I have to ask for those services, or I have to implement?
No, yes. The LoRa is a company. It's I don't need to find. There is I don't know in Mexico, okay, but there are some providers. NB-IoT and LTM, you can see, and the providers from equipment. You can see in Siemens, or Ericsson, or Huawei. I don't know how to I don't know which company is now. Give me a second.
Yeah, I get the idea.
Okay.
Huawei.
And yes. I don't know how to type. Okay.
Yeah,
it's a equipment provider. From the company, most of the time, okay, not all the time, but sometimes, I believe the Claro can provide, AT&T provide. I don't know exactly what all the companies that provide services in the Mexico, okay? But I believe the two companies can provide NB-IoT and the TM. But here is a service, okay? You can contract the service, okay? Here in Brazil, why I told you it's because in Brazil, the Claro, we don't have AT&T here in Brazil, but in the United States, AT&T provide 5G and now the IoT service, okay? Claro in Brazil, don't have Claro in the United States, but it has in Brazil. And Brazil, Claro has 5G and have all the IoT service. It's a provider of IoT service, okay? I don't know the other companies that you have here in the Mexico. You need to looking for. The LoRa, LoRa need to check. I cannot remember the name of the company. Provider. Give me a second here. You have the Semtech. Because the LoRa, you have some problems, okay? You have different providers, okay? You need to define, for example, I want to have For example, did you see here? LoRa public network provider. You have in Mexico, but you don't have in other countries in South America, in the South America. For example, let's see. Yeah, you need to check, okay, because LoRa is a standard, but it's not very well standardized. What it means. Most of the time, you buy a LoRa equipment from one provider, you need to use all the equipment from this provider. Did you understand?
Yes.
Okay, it's different than, for example, NB-IoT, except the Hawaii, okay? If you buy, for example, a Siemens equipment, you can use, for example, with Apple equipment, for example. Okay, it's a little easy to configure and to design an NB-IoT or LTM network. But it's a little, to use this network is a little easy, but it's a little more expensive. This one is a little cheap. But again, if you buy from one provider, a lot of time you need to follow this provider until you die or until you replace the network. Okay. Any question, guys?
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
So, guys, again, as I told you, it's only an introduction about this type of network. Again, it's you have a lot of very detailed things, but again, it's not the focus of our course. Okay, if you the protocol course, when you study the protocols, most of the time you study in the master program or in the PhD program or in telecommunication course when you study, for example, the 5G or the next generation networks. Okay, but not in the computer course. So I will give a break, and when we're back to realize on together a hands-on activity. Okay. During the break, if you can check your credential to the Azure is very important. Okay, your username. I don't know if you know in your hand, in your brain, in your mind, or you need to find a place that you copy. Okay, but again, when you're back, you start the new lab, the lab. Okay, and we work alone, but inside the groups. Okay, but again, I give you a break. Stop for this break to go to the bathroom because you don't have another break. I will give now is 11:13. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. You return 11:30. 30. Okay.
Yes.
Take a rest and we give you more time to relax. And when back, we don't have break until the end of this session. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
See you soon.